Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with Capo Fetish. Today I'm going to talk about some great late night headphone platters. Albums that I enjoy late at night, put on the headphones, lean back, just hear all the subtleties and the calmness. So this is no ranking, it's just random albums from all genres and years. I'm going to start it off here with 1971's Pink Moon from Nick Drake. This is a great late night record, very stark. Only Nick Drake and his acoustic guitar and his amazing voice. This album, I think it clocks in about 28 minutes, so it's a very short record, but all the songs are very beautiful, perhaps a little melancholy, but I think this is probably my favorite album of his. I love all three of his albums. Brighter Later came out before this. It was a little more produced and arranged. Same with the first album, Five Leaves Left, but this is just a great singer-songwriter album, his last recorded before his death. There were some tracks he did record in 1974 that were featured on an album called Time of No Reply, but this is perhaps one of his greatest statements here. Pink Moon, Nick Drake, great songs on here. Of course, the title track was used in a Volkswagen commercial in 1999. And then you've got great songs like Ride, From the Morning, Harvest Breed. It's just a really eerie tune called Horn. I think it's just him plucking the strings, but just a really great album. Pink Moon from Nick Drake from 1971. And then another great one in the jazz field is Miles Davis, In a Silent Way. This is a great record to listen to with the headphones. There's two tracks, one on each side. One called Shh, Peaceful, and the other one called In a Silent Way. It's about that time now. At this time, this is probably really the formation of jazz fusion. This is one of the first albums. You've got an incredible lineup of players here. Herbie Hancock on piano, Chick Corea on piano, Wayne Shorter on tenor sax. You got John McLaughlin before his Mahavishnu days playing guitar. These songs are very hypnotic sounding, a lot different than Bitches Brew, which came out a year later. Just very kind of spacey, hypnotic, kind of things come in and out. A little bit of horn comes in here and there. It's really about vibe and just has this incredible hypnotic feeling. Love this album. Miles Davis, In a Silent Way from '69, a definite jazz fusion classic, and one of the first of that genre recorded. Another great one here, and it's mainly just side two, but David Bowie's Low, side two of this album. I love this whole album, but I actually like side two more. The instrumentals on here, Warsaza, Art Decade. God, I love Art Decade. Weeping Wall and Subterraneans on side two. So the first side is all just really quirky, quick little 3-minute pop ditties. And then at side two, it's all instrumental, kind of almost new agey sounding, a thing that Eno had already, done a few years prior with Another Green World. But Eno's all over this album and just adding a lot of effects to it. I think Bowie plays a lot of the keyboards on side two, but his vocalizations on side two are just amazing, especially on Warsaza. Just incredible stuff. Side two, Low of David Bowie from 77? Yeah, 1977. Another great one, too, from 1988 is the Cowboy Junkies, The Trinity Session. I have it here on cassette. Got to get right from that light there. So this is recorded at the Church of the Holy Trinity in Toronto, featuring the beautiful vocals of Margot Timmins. A couple of her brothers are backing her up as well. This is just a very vibey record, very influenced by the Third Velvet Underground album. It just takes you somewhere to a really nice place. Her voice is like an angel. This was recorded in late 87, came out in late 88. That's what I read at least. But I remember it when it came out in 1988. Got a lot of airplay. Songs like their version of the Velvet Underground's Sweet Jane is very definitive on this record, but a lot of great songs. Just another great vibey album for late night listening. The Cowboy Junkies Trinity Session from 1988. Another great one from 1966 is the first album by singer-songwriter Tim Harden. Tim Harden 1. Tim Harden was an amazing songwriter. Unfortunately, he was plagued by drug problems. That's pretty much kind of ruled his life till his death in 1980. But even on this first album, he is creating just a lot of just great songs. You got Misty Roses on here. Reason to Believe, the original version that Rod Stewart later covered on Every Picture Tells a Story. You've got Smuggling Man. The whole album is just full of great 2-minute songs, and this clocks in at about 28 minutes. Tim Harden's voice is very relaxing, very chill. The instrumentation is very basic. Another great album here from 1966. Another great one that came out just prior to Leonard Cohen's death, his last album, Some Like It Darker, or You Want It Darker. I've been listening to a lot of this lately. This is a great headphone listen. It's almost like he's speaking from beyond. You've got his son and others providing all the instrumentation. It's really well arranged, nothing too cluttered, very, very spacious, all the arrangements. And then you've got, of course, Leonard's voice and poetry over the top of the instrumentation. Really, really great stuff. And again, very eerie sounding, but just a really cool vibe. This came out in, I believe, 2016, right before his death. Leonard Cohen's You Want It Darker, Leonard Cohen. Another great one, too, from the jazz world, Kenny Burrell's Midnight Blue, recorded in 1963. Great Blue Note release. I was listening to this today. There's nothing like Kenny Burrell's tone, his guitar tone. It's so clean, yet so thick sounding. Just an absolute classic here. Everything on here is flawless. Just an absolute perfect listen. Great, an absolute album that should be included in any album collection. Whether it be jazz, pop, whatever, it should be in any collection. It's just solid from start to finish. Really, really cool jazz. Great playing. Just from 1963, Kenny Burrell's Midnight Blue. 1978, here's an album that hardly anybody talks about, and I think it is just an absolute, almost a 5-star album. It's Canadian singer-songwriter Bruce Coburn, The Further Adventures of Bruce Coburn. Great album from here from 1978. Bruce didn't really make a lot of impact here in the States. I think he had a following in Canada, but there's just some amazing songs on here called Laughing, Rainfall. His really, really unique way of acoustic playing. He has a great voice. All these songs are just great on headphones. I don't even know if this is on CD, but if it is, you should pick it up. It's fantastic. Bruce Coburn, The Further Adventures of, came out in 1970 on the Island Records label. And then for people who are into dream pop, this is a great headphone listen. One of my favorite albums by Cocteau Twins, Bluebell Knoll from 1988, featuring the amazing Elizabeth Fraser, her husband Robin Guthrie, on guitar and producing. Every tune on this is fantastic. I got to put my glasses on for 1 second here. They seem to escape me. Oh well, hold on 1 sec. There's one song I want to mention on here that is just really, really gorgeous. And the song is called, what is it called? Kiko Buff. It's a song that starts side 2. It is an unbelievable track. And then there's Carolyn's Fingers, Bluebell Knoll, the title track. Just has that total flow. Great dream pop. 1988, Cocteau Twins. Great album. Another great one here is from Roy Harper from 1971, Stormcock. This has a total of 4 songs on it, very long songs. Really infectious. It takes a little while for it to sink in, but about 4 or 5 plays, I really got into this. Jimmy Page is very influenced by Roy Harper. He even plays on, what is the tune? He plays on Same Old Rock. There's a solo by Page. Yeah, just really good stuff. I guess you would call this progressive folk. This is a great record. This is from 71, so Roy Harper, Stormcock, great listen. Another great one here, I go to this one quite a bit, is American Prayer by Jim Morrison and the Doors, a posthumous album released, maybe 6-7 years after Jim passed. Spoken poetry, really demented poetry, words. There's a live version of Roadhouse Blues, but not only did Jim have a great rock voice, he had a great spoken word voice, very just calm and just soothing. I find this album just endlessly fascinating and entertaining. A lot of just probably unintended humor on here. I mean, some of the tracks on here, like Lament, First time I ever heard him, man, I just fell down laughing, just hysterical. But the Whole American Prayer album is amazing. A lot of people disregard this album, but I love it. Still play it a lot. Great headphone listen. 1978, American Prayer by The Doors, Jim Morrison. And a lot of these tracks were recorded, I think, on his birthday in 1970, I believe. So that was like his last birthday. But yeah, great album. And speaking earlier of the Cowboy Junkies, the Trinity Session album, probably the biggest influence on that record was the third Velvet Underground album. This is I go back and forth between this album, the Deco album, and Loaded. I think the past couple of years, this is probably my favorite and most played Velvet Underground album. It's very quiet, completely opposite than White Light, White Heat. It's very calm. It really presents Lou Reed as an incredible songwriter. You've got Candy Says, What Goes On, Some Kind of Love, two of his best ballads, Pale Blue Eyes and Jesus. Second Side is great too. You've got Beginning to See the Light, I'm Free. You have The Murder Mystery, which is a little out of place, but there's a time and place for that. Then After Hours, sung by drummer Maureen Tucker. This is a very influential album in the alternative music scene. A lot of people are influenced by this kind of lo-fi album. This is a 1983 pressing from the UK. It's the Closet Mix, that remix that Lou Reed did. It was different than the normal mix that came out in US. If you ever find this album, get the Closet Mix. It's really, really, really cool. A lot different than the standard mix that was released in the US in 1969. But great, great vibey album for late night listening. Another great album that I was really into for a long time is the second Fleet Foxes album. This has some really amazing songs. I guess you would call this too like progressive folk, kind of a Baroque pop. There's just an amazing array of songs on here. This one called The Plains, Bitter Dancer, starts off with this kind of chanting, and it goes into all these different parts. It's just amazing. Robin Pecknold is the lead singer and songwriter, and I think this is like a masterpiece, this album. It's just absolutely amazing. There's a song on here called Blue Spotted Tail with just Robin and the acoustic guitar. Gorgeous song. The album ends with Grown Ocean, which kind of has kind of a Beach Boys Smile kind of vibe. But yeah, it's just one of those just magnificent records where every tune is incredibly well played. A lot of great arrangements, and of course the vocal harmonies are like the Beach Boys. It sounds like the Beach Boys in parts. A little bit of CSN. They are just amazing. I lost interest after this album. They went into kind of a different, kind of more new agey kind of vibe, but I love the first two Fleet Foxes album, and this is my favorite of theirs. Helplessness Blues, it's called, from 2011 on the Sub Pop label. Highly recommended. Great, great vibey late night album. Another great one from the shoegaze movement is a band I just love called Lush. This is their first release, official release of 1992. It's called Spooky, and it was produced by Robin Guthrie from the Cocteau Twins. There's a song on here called Fantasy with the main principal songwriters, Mickey Bereni and Emma Anderson, sounding like angels. The melody is so gorgeous. It's incredible. Another song on here, which had a little airplay back in the day on K-Rock, was called For Love. Incredible stuff. So yeah, this is a great, great late night listen as well. Came out in 1992. We got a couple more here. And then we've got Isaac Hayes' Hot Buttered Soul. This is another one of those albums that has like about 4 songs on it. We've got long extended cover versions of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. I got Walk On By. Just, I guess you would call this kind of progressive soul. It has a sweeping orchestral sound. A Hammond organ played by Isaac Hayes. And we've got this just cool reverb. I don't know, it's just kind of like this Philadelphia sound before it became popularized in the 1970s, early 70s. But yeah, Isaac Hayes, Hot Buttered Soul, really great listen on headphones. And then one last one here. We've got a great album from 1998 by late singer-songwriter Elliot Smith. The album is called XO. This is really, really great tunes on here. Sweet Adeline, Waltz Number 2. The whole album just really flows really well. There's really great harmonies on it. A Real Troubled Soul, we lost him, I think, in the early 2000s, but he cranked out a couple of really great albums, this being one. Another one, Either Or, came out, I think, in 95. But yeah, these are all just really good headphone listens. I recommend these if you haven't heard them. So anyway, if you have any comments, leave those in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.